Faith-based story. Title: In the Shadow of the Valley. Amelia Whitman sat in the quiet hospital room, her father's frail hand in hers. The room was filled with the scent of antiseptic, and the sterile white walls seemed to close in on her. She had always been a daddy's girl, and now she was about to face the greatest challenge of her life, dealing with her father's impending death. In the midst of the uncertainty and pain, she found solace in the words of Psalm 23:4, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Amelia's father, John, had been a tower of strength in her life. He was a man of faith and wisdom, and his presence had always been a source of comfort. Now, as he battled a relentless illness, she struggled to come to terms with the inevitable. John's illness had been a relentless foe, a shadow that had slowly crept into their lives, stealing away his vitality and strength. It had all started with a persistent cough that they thought was just a minor ailment. But it turned out to be lung cancer, and it had spread far and wide, defying even the most aggressive treatments. Amelia had tried everything to save her father, consulting the best doctors, exploring alternative therapies, and hoping against hope. But it was clear that the valley of the shadow of death was fast approaching. As John lay in the hospital bed, his eyes filled with a mixture of pain and resignation, he beckoned Amelia closer. His voice was weak but filled with love. "Amelia, my dear, there's something I want to tell you." Amelia leaned in, her heart heavy with anticipation. "Yes, Dad." With great effort, John said, "No matter what happens, remember that God is with us. He has been our guide through life's ups and downs. Lean on Him, trust Him, and He will carry you through this journey." Amelia nodded, her eyes brimming with tears. She knew that her father's faith was unwavering, and she needed to draw strength from it. In the days that followed, as John's condition deteriorated, Amelia found herself facing the darkest valley of her life. She had always thought of herself as strong, but she felt helpless and overwhelmed. She turned to the Bible for guidance, finding comfort in Psalm 23, "He leads me beside quiet waters, He refreshes my soul." The hospital room became a sacred space where she spent hours with her father, reading the Bible, sharing memories, and expressing her love. She had never felt so close to him, and their conversations were a source of inspiration and healing. John reminded her that death was not an end but a transition to a new beginning. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow on the room, John whispered to Amelia, "I have no fear, my dear. I know that I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Amelia held her father's hand, tears streaming down her face. "I love you, Dad." "I love you too, my precious girl," he replied, his voice a mere whisper. Those were his last words, and as he took his final breath, Amelia clung to the promise of Psalm 23, knowing that her father had found eternal peace. In the days following John's passing, Amelia's grief was overwhelming. The reality of her father's absence hit her like a tidal wave, and she struggled to find her footing in a world without him. She had read Psalm 23 countless times, finding solace in the words, "He restores my soul." But it was her father's teachings and unwavering faith that guided her through the darkest days. She knew that she had to face her grief head-on and embrace the mourning process. Amelia joined a support group for those who had lost loved ones to cancer. It was there that she met Sarah, a young woman who had also recently lost her mother to the same disease. Their shared experiences created an instant bond, and they became each other's pillars of strength. Together, they explored different ways to cope with grief. They attended grief counseling sessions, practiced mindfulness and meditation, and found solace in nature, just as Psalm 23 had described, "He makes me lie down in green pastures." As time passed, Amelia discovered the importance of allowing herself to feel her grief and express her emotions. She remembered the verse from Ecclesiastes 3:4, "A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance." She realized that mourning was a natural part of the healing process, and she couldn't rush it. Amelia and Sarah also began volunteering at a local hospice, providing companionship and support to those facing the end of their lives. In doing so, they found a sense of purpose and a deeper appreciation for life. They witnessed the profound impact of love, compassion, and faith on those nearing the end of their journeys. One day, as Amelia sat by the bedside of an elderly woman named Martha, who was in the final stages of her battle with cancer, Martha reached out and held Amelia's hand. With a weak but grateful smile, she whispered, "Thank you, dear. You've brought light into the shadows of my valley." Amelia was deeply moved by Martha's words. She had come to understand that facing death the right way meant not only finding solace in faith but also extending love and support to others in their time of need. She had learned that grief was not a burden to bear alone but a journey to be shared with kindred souls. As Amelia continued to heal and support others through their grief, she realized that death was not the end of the story but a new beginning. She remembered the words of John 14:2-3, "In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am you may be also." In her own way, Amelia found a way to honor her father's memory. She established the John Whitman Foundation, dedicated to supporting families affected by cancer and providing them with spiritual and emotional guidance. Amelia's journey through grief had been a testament to the power of faith, love, and community. She had learned to walk through the darkest valley, just as Psalm 23:4 had promised, without fearing evil, for God's presence was her constant companion. And as she continued to live out her father's teachings and find purpose in her own healing, Amelia knew that she had truly dealt with death the right way. In her father's memory, she had found a path to healing and a way to bring light to the shadows of others' valleys, just as her father had done for her. As the first anniversary of her father's passing approached, Amelia decided to visit a memorial garden they had often frequented together. It was a serene place filled with vibrant flowers and tranquil ponds. Amelia believed it was the perfect spot to honor her father's memory and reflect on the lessons he had taught her. Amelia brought a bouquet of her father's favorite flowers, lilies, and a copy of his well-worn Bible. She found a quiet bench by a small pond, and with the Bible open to Psalm 23, she began to read aloud, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." The words brought her a sense of peace, just as they had when her father had recited them. Amelia placed the bouquet by a memorial stone with her father's name etched on it, and tears welled up in her eyes as she remembered the times they had spent in this garden, talking about life, faith, and love. She felt his presence there, as if he were sitting beside her, sharing one last moment of communion. One evening, Sarah invited Amelia to her art exhibition at a local gallery. Sarah's art had evolved over the years, and she had dedicated this exhibition to exploring themes of life, death, and the human experience. As Amelia walked through the gallery, she was struck by the powerful emotions that Sarah's paintings evoked. Each piece captured the essence of life's fragility and the profound beauty that could be found even in the face of mortality. Sarah's work was a testament to the idea that art could be a reflection of the human soul, mirroring the depth of our emotions and experiences. One particular painting caught Amelia's eye. It depicted a serene garden with vibrant lilies, just like the ones Amelia had placed by her father's memorial stone. The painting seemed to capture the essence of the memorial garden they had loved, and it filled Amelia's heart with a sense of connection and peace. At the exhibition, Amelia met many people who had been touched by Sarah's art. They shared stories of their own experiences with loss and healing, and the evening became a celebration of life, love, and the human spirit's resilience. Amelia continued her volunteer work at the local hospice, where she had met Martha and many other individuals in their final stages of life. One day, she visited an elderly man named James, who was a retired pastor. James shared his life's journey with Amelia, and his unwavering faith was a source of inspiration. He had been a shepherd to his congregation, much like the image in Psalm 23. James encouraged Amelia to find solace in her own faith and to continue her work in supporting others through their grief. Before she left, James asked Amelia to read Psalm 23 to him, and they recited it together. It was a beautiful moment of connection, a reminder that the comfort of faith transcended even the shadow of death. The John Whitman Foundation grew in scope and impact as Amelia's work touched the lives of many families affected by cancer. She organized an annual event to bring together those who had received support from the foundation, creating a sense of community and shared strength. The event featured inspirational speakers, music, and a memorial wall where attendees could honor their loved ones who had passed away. One by one, people shared their stories of loss and healing, highlighting the importance of faith, love, and support during times of grief. Amelia, standing at the podium, addressed the audience. My father taught me that death is not the end but a transition to a new beginning. Let us remember the words of Psalm 23, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In our memories, in our faith, and in our love, our loved ones continue to dwell with us. The event was a powerful testament to the positive impact that one person's journey through grief could have on others. It had grown beyond Amelia's personal experience, becoming a source of hope and healing for countless families. On a bright and sunny morning, Amelia decided to visit her father's grave. It had been a while since she had gone there, but she felt a strong need to reconnect with him. The cemetery was filled with the soft rustling of leaves and the song of birds, and it felt like a place of peace and tranquility. She knelt by the gravestone, her hand tracing the engraved words, John Whitman, beloved father and faithful shepherd. Amelia began to recite Psalm 23, and as she did, she felt a gentle breeze that seemed to whisper a message of love and comfort. As she finished the psalm, she said, Dad, I miss you every day, but your faith and your love still guide me. I know that you're in a better place, and I find solace in the knowledge that one day, we'll be together again. Amelia stood up, her heart lighter than it had been in a long time. She knew that the pain of losing her father would never completely go away, but she had learned how to deal with death in the right way, finding strength in faith, love, and the shared experiences of those who had walked through their own darkest valleys. Amelia's journey had been one of transformation and healing, and she had emerged from the shadows of grief as a source of inspiration and support for others. Her father's legacy lived on through her work, and the love she had shared with him continued to shine brightly, just as Psalm 23 had promised, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.